Alright, so did all the lariat work. Now I put the halter on him, and he's alright putting the halter on. We're still working a little bit on keeping his head down, but he's not giving a big deal. So one day I'm sure I'll have a horse that has a problem with that, and we'll video that. But what I'm going to do now, what I'm going to start to do, sometimes they change my mind for me, but we'll work with it if we do. I'm going to start teaching him to kind of lead across me, sending him. And he also has a little bit of trouble, like you've seen, with yielding to that pressure of the halter. He rather push on it or pull on it. So we're going to kind of intermingle the sending with the don't pull on my halter. And so what I'm going to do first, yes, I know. I'm going to just kind of lead him off. I'm going to do just as if I wanted what he should do eventually. Obviously, he's looking at me like, what do you want? I'm not going to let him look at me. I'm just going to drive him this way. And when he pulls on me, I'm just going to stop that. Just drive a little bit. And when he goes, I'm just kind of release, lead, send, let him know that's the right answer. Now he's kind of pulling on me here. I'm going to drift with him a little bit while I'm talking. I'm going to plant my hand, and I want him to yield to that pressure. Now this could get pretty interesting here in a minute, and that's okay. Sometimes it does, sometimes it doesn't. Lead with my whole body. My whole body's telling him I want him to go that way. And I'm going to let this rope slide just a little bit for a while because he's still learning. I'm going to try and back up here so the camera can get a little better. I'm going to lead back here, and then I'm going to stop my body and my hand, and I want him to yield to that pressure. When he does, life's good. As I pick up the speed, it might not happen. Thinking about it, send him off. My whole body is looking this direction. I lift up and drive that shoulder that way. Now he pulls on me too hard. I'm just going to kind of bump him off of that. Send. There we go. Plant. Little reminder. Stop. Think about that. So anytime he runs into something, keeps going, kind of spaces off, I'm just going to give him a little bump. Lead, my whole body. Wrong answer, right answer. Send, plant, stop. And I will work also on his hindquarters here later, but right now he gets really kind of pushy on that halter, so I'm just going to get him to stop pushing on that halter. And yes, I can just keep going to that hindquarters, but if he's pushing on that halter too much, he could come out on top of me here. Come out here if I go on his hindquarters too hard. Wait on him, he's stuck, drive, change my body, change my stance, and ask him to kind of stop. Lift. So you're starting to get that job. Don't pull on me. Don't pull, drive. Wrong answer, 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 wrong answer. Almost the right answer. Let him come all the way across here. Wrong answer, right answer. My body stops. I do in my body to start. And eventually he'll just start following my body, and this rope will always be there, but won't be there. He'll be coming off of my body. So I could drop the rope and he'd still do exactly the same thing. I could have the rope, I can have a piece of string, and he'd still follow the same thing. Because the feel comes from me. The rope just kind of helps right now. The rope is not the feel, I'm the feel. Send him off. Still kind of pulling on me there. And we'll work on this here. It'll come. Change my body, plant. And he's stuffing his hindquarters across pretty good, even though I'm not really asking for it. But that's what I want when I stop that front. At this point yet, anyway. And I'm really exaggerating. Send. Drive. So my hands up, they're kind of nice and big. It's not like I'm getting too quiet here on him yet. Plant. Stop. You're starting to think about life. Lead. Wrong answer. Follow this all the way across. I stop. You stop. Lead. This is going into a trailer here. See, now I'm going to start getting after him for pulling me back. So now when he starts pulling back on me, I'm just going to start kind of bumping him for that too. As he starts making sense, you don't stay in the same place all the time. You keep growing on this. So I let him kind of drift the first couple times. And then I won't let him drift so much anymore. And then later on down the road, if he gets even worse, or if he doesn't fix it, with me being a little nice here about it, so I'm going to say, don't pull on me. There we go. He made a change of his mind there, so I stopped bumping him. I know it doesn't always make sense. You're sending them backwards, kind of. But when they start pulling back on rails or something like that, they're going to feel that. And I want him to go, don't do that. So I'm just letting the halter kind of bite him in a way when he pulls on me. Because I want him no heavier than a hummingbird. I should be able to have anything, anyone, at any time be able to pick up this halter line and ever so slightly and ever so lightly pick up on anything, and he should stop, including if he's in a panic situation. Even if they're in a panic situation, they can get so good at not pulling that they don't pull, which also means they won't run off on you when you're riding them. Because they're going to follow that. Stop. Good job. Let him know he's doing all right. Lead off, not on top of me. Send him. See, there he kind of started to get to the end of my line, but he got bumped a few times when he did that, so then he actually came towards me when he felt that pressure. So sometimes things don't necessarily make sense, but they work. He's getting a little close, but that's all right. Saying, am I doing all right? Yeah, you're doing great. I'm going to ask him to back up. I don't know if he's going to follow this or not. Oh, he did. Good job. As long as you stay light, they'll follow a lot of stuff, whether they know it or not. And again, he's never been spoiled. The more spoiled they are, the harder this is. When they're not spoiled, this all happens pretty dang quick. People always say, oh, wild Mustangs or wild horses, they're so hard. No, they're actually easier because nobody's messed them up yet. Kind of helped him there a little bit. Good job. See if I can get a little bit more out of him here. He's kind of pulling on me, not pulling on me. Thank you very much. So I want it uncomfortable every time he feels pressure on that halter. I want it to be a lot more uncomfortable for him to put that pressure on the halter than for me. Send him off. Just put more pressure on him, put more pressure on him. And stop. So now we're going to get into the, I had to kind of teach him how to send a little bit. So now I'm going to send him a little quicker, plant, and hold. Send him off a little quicker, plant, and hold. Send him off. So I had to kind of do a little bit first, plant, and hold. Send him off a little quicker. There. And pretty soon, this will happen that I won't be able to get any pressure on this halter. Wait, there we go. He was thinking, so I didn't do any harder. Send him. I'm going to walk with him here a little bit so that he starts putting pressure. Just kind of get him more excited. Good. So I'm actually upping where he doesn't necessarily know how to go yet. But because he is so pushy on this halter at times, I'm going to do this a little earlier than if he wasn't really pushy on this halter. Send him off. and get him to yield. I'm just kind of teaching him now to not ever push on this halter. There. And so I drift with him a little bit, and then I put that pressure on. Let him know everything's okay. Now, again, if he wasn't pushing on me, like sometimes I'll pull him out of the stall. Done it to me a couple times, and he won't go. I don't like that, so I figured this would be a good time to fix that. So I'm going to kind of drift with him, get him a little excited about life here, drive him. Basically be rude to him, and then ask him to stop. Emergencies are never nice. Something spooks him out there on the trail. It's not a nice thing. The garbage truck doesn't come by and go, "Excuse me, I'm going to spook your horse." It just happens. So I actually get kind of rude, and I'm doing a few things here at once, believe it or not. And then getting him to yield to that pressure. Send him off, send him off, send him off, stop, thank you. Send him off, send him off, send him off, stop, thank you. Let him know everything's still okay. There. It's getting a lot lighter. You see, I'm not sand skiing anymore. So it's coming. And this will just get better and better. And I'm telling you, get to the point where even the biggest emergency and the most panic, they might be flopping around at the end of that line like a fish, but you're holding it with your teeth. So it all just keeps going. You just keep building on it every day. This is not a one-day process. Yeah, I could get him done, saddle him up, and ride him around if I really wanted to, which I'm not 18 anymore, I don't do that. But and I've also learned it doesn't help the horse. All that does is skip steps. So I want to get everything done all the way through until he is basically good to go. And then once this not pulling on me anymore is fixed, then I'll work on a little bit better of the sending, yielding the hindquarters, the front quarters, sending him through the objects, getting all that done. But I want to get this really established so that he's not pulling on me. And you gotta learn your ABCs before you can start writing your words, before you can do your sentences, before you can do your paragraphs, your letters, and all that kind of stuff. So you want to be able to just start him somewhere, and this is where it is. And obviously he's not afraid. I'm not scaring him. Life's still good because I'm not beating him up for it. I'm just letting him figure it out and learn it. So thank you very much, and we'll do the next thing.